All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I see here that you have been on quite a journey. Um, you've been working on something within yourself that has to do with your spiritual growth, your spiritual development, and also lessons learned. Um, and it's been quite healing for you and quite profound. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, before I begin this reading, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do love to do personal readings, and you can book a reading with me down below in my description box at my website, ajstarot.com. And also, if this reading resonates with you, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as that helps me connect more with others' energies. But Sagittarius, your overall energy today is the Empress. So, one of abundance, self love, feeling really good, feeling really on top of the world. For the Empress, we got Strength, the Star, the Ten of Pentacles. I'm taking this kind of two ways. One is that you may have a dream that you're holding on to, and this dream feels very abundant to you, and it brings a sense of purpose to you with that Ten of Pentacles. And also, this could be about healing and about holding on to your healing journey, persisting even when things get hard towards the energy of peace, the energy of growth, the energy of healing there. So really beautiful energy for you today. In the recent past, we have the Devil, Justice, and the Page of Pentacles. So there was a lesson that you were learning here about self-love and what it is you deserve. With the Devil, there may have been some type of pattern or limiting belief that you were kind of staying stuck in, and it was holding you back. With Justice, I see you kind of flipping that energy, transmuting it into understanding a lesson about what is it that you really do deserve, and kind of breaking free of that devil. So even though that devil energy looks a little bit scary on the surface, there was a lesson in there that allowed you to reach some type of higher understanding, reach some type of truth, and the Page of Pentacles represents that lesson. So let's dive in here, take a look at those energies. I'm really interested to see what the devil is for you here in the recent past. We have a lot of major arcana here today, so very, very spiritual, impactful energy for you. Let's look at the devil. We have the Six of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Four of Cups. There was something here about other people around you and feeling kind of trapped in what they thought of you, or what was going on with them, getting kind of wrapped up in relationships that weren't working for you. And I just heard the word samsara in my head. And in Buddhism and Hinduism, in Sanskrit, samsara means it's like the karmic wheel. It's like going around and around in the same circles again without finding your way out. And I think you might have been in some type of karmic cycle where you sort of kept repeating the same things that didn't feel good with people. And you might have felt like you were meeting the same people in different bodies and not really growing in those relationships. Let's take a look at Justice. Ten of Wands, Ace of Wands, the Chariot. At some point you realize that these cycles that you were in with these other people were kind of holding you back, holding you down. You're showing me you had this desire, this feeling of, I need to break free of this. I need to move away from this, with that Chariot card, which is all about moving on and movement, kind of taking flight. But the Ten of Wands, you're like, whoa, I have a lot holding me down and I'm not moving forward on my path. And so there's like this desire for something new, that Ace of Wands. And it's interesting because even though that energy in the past was holding you down and it doesn't look healthy and all of that stuff, it allowed you to pinpoint really clearly what wasn't working, what the baggage was. And that's going to be different for everyone. But whatever that was, it allowed you to kind of redirect onto a new path. And it did teach you something. It did give you a lesson. Let's take a look at that Page of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the World. You learned something very important here about your own personal power and your own confidence. And you can almost think of your life force as like the flow of a river through you. And that river needs to be able to flow freely. If there's something blocking the river's path, that water, that energy isn't going to be able to flow. And so you learn something really important about identifying the blocks in your path and resolving them so that you could almost clear the way for what it is you need to do in life. And for some of you, this is attached to who and what you love and where you put your love. And so there's something here about making sure you're spending time with the right people and receiving love in the right ways, so that you don't end up with blocks to your energy. And that, for some reason, is sort of the scaffolding to the rest of this reading, because I see the rest of the reading talking about something else, but this is sort of like important background for us. But let's move forward and look at the current energy. You have the Magician, the Five of Swords, the High Priestess. So you're manifesting something, you're creating something, but as you create that, you're kind of doubting your intuition. Your intuition is very much there with the High Priestess, kind of your higher self guiding the way, but with the Five of Swords, it's like at times you become disconnected from your intuition along this path. So let's take a look here. You might hear the cats that were house sitting. They have to stay inside in the evening, and sometimes they're not happy about it, but that's okay. For the Magician, we get the Four of Swords, the Star, and the King of Pentacles. So you're really manifesting and creating healing and rest for yourself. And it brings you a new level of stability because you feel like provided for. And so I see you kind of providing for yourself and putting an end to possibly cycles of lack or feeling like really split in many directions, kind of spread thin. I almost see you like replenishing your energy in a really beautiful way here. And there's something you're doing with that Magician card that creates this for you. It's almost like you're taking steps to take care of yourself in some way. So very positive. Let's take a look at the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords again, the Five of Cups, the Four of Cups. I see you looking back at the past and kind of looking back at what didn't work with other people in the past, that devil energy. And I actually see that other people were bringing a very unhealthy energy towards you, but you kind of looked at it and thought, am I the issue? Did I do something wrong? There's some disappointment and pain and grief with that Five of Cups around what happened in the past. And I see you kind of doubting yourself and being like, where did I go wrong? What happened there? You could feel kind of unresolved when it comes to the past. But I see that those thoughts, they sort of distract you from the present moment. And you might start to believe that what happened with those people in the past have some bearing on you. But it doesn't. It's more like those were energies that you were around. They had their own stuff going on, their own samsara. And I think that you got kind of dragged in some ways, and then you freed yourself once you saw the truth. And so, for those of you who might be blaming yourself for other people's actions or taking on some of that energy, this is just a little note from Spirit that you don't have to let that burden you. You can let go of that and just know that that was their path and their stuff that they're dealing with. It's not your fault. And the reason why this is important to note is because your oracle cards are ordinariness, moment to moment, and totality. So that's a message from Spirit that they want you to stay in the present moments. They want you to take life as it comes, really be present for each unfolding moment, and just be there for yourself moment to moment. And sometimes that might be very ordinary. It might be in this moment you're washing the dish and the dish isn't getting clean, so you're scrubbing extra hard. Or, maybe you glance out the window and you see a blue jay and you get kind of wrapped up in that blue jay for a moment. Spirit wants you to be open to just the ordinariness of life and to know that that is enough, totality. Know that if all you have is the present moment, that's more than enough. And you don't have to get wrapped up in the past. You don't have to get wrapped up in the future. You can just be here now. And there's something about that because it seems like there's something in the past that you return to and it's a little bit painful. And it's also like you're not seeing things clearly with that Five of Swords. And so Spirit's asking you to just maintain a bit of an awareness of where you're putting your attention and try to ground in the present moment again. And many of you might be doing that, especially if you have a meditation practice or you have like a, loving kindness awareness practice where you stay in the present moment. But this is just a reminder for all of us, just to ground yourself in that and not get too carried away by the past. Let's take a look at the High Priestess. This is your higher self, your intuition, your spiritual path. The Hanged Man, the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Swords. If you get stuck in your head, or you get anxious, or you feel like you can't see things clearly, take a moment to just inhale, and take a moment to exhale. And just be with your breath and come back to yourself. Center yourself. Because when you are centered and when you're calm, your intuition will speak very clearly to you and help you find the way out. But you have to go into yourself to find the way out. And so there's clarity to be had here, Sagittarius. And I keep seeing this theme for you. We have the devil, but then we have justice. So you have confusion and pain, and then you have clarity. And you have, the Five of Swords, which is confusion, and you have the High Priestess, which is clarity. And you have the Eight of Swords, confusion, and then the Hanged Man, clarity. And so you have both of these within you, and it's about kind of striking the middle balance so that you can maintain that clarity. And it's okay if you get pulled out for a second, but it's also about breathing, returning to yourself, and returning back to your center, and kind of practicing that. And I'm really seeing here that you are on a very spiritual path, and that part of loving yourself will be having the strength to continue down that spiritual path even when it's difficult, even when it's hard. It almost takes like self-discipline with that Strength card, the Star card, and the Ten of Pentacles. That's an energy of self-discipline where you're like, I'm gonna do what's best for me, even if it's difficult. Even if certain things have to end, I'm committed to doing what will feel good for me. And Spirit's kind of saying you're a spiritual superstar. You have the ability to face the suffering, face the pain, face the anxiety, the lack of clarity, and come out of it stronger, come out of it wiser, come out of it having learned something. And so that's just being highlighted here. Now, in the near future, we have the Two of Wands, the Emperor, and the Eight of Pentacles. So someone else is coming in here. You're coming up as the Empress today, and then we have this Emperor. So I don't know who that would be to you, but it's someone that you would be able to identify very clearly, because that's sort of like your energetic counterpart. Let's take a look at the Emperor. The Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the High Priestess. This could be someone younger than you, and if not younger, they're just someone who might be a little less mature or might have some growth to do compared to you, because you're coming through as the King of Wands and they're coming through as the Page and the Knight. So a little bit younger in their spiritual energy, because we also have the High Priestess. They are growing spiritually. They're going from the Page to the Knight. And they're also learning a spiritual lesson. But there's something here that you were able to see clearly and learn that I think they're still kind of getting there. And for some reason, that's relevant. This could be someone who you're separated from or you have some silence with the Eight of Cups here. That represents some kind of breakage or taking space. What else can we get here? Let's take a look at the Two of Wands. This person is in your energy in some way, and they are growing, but this would be someone who, again, might not be all the way on your level in terms of spiritual growth. Let's take a look at the Two of Wands. The Six of Wands, the Hermit, the Page of Swords. So this person's coming through and kind of saying, where did you go? They want to know what's going on with you in some way. They're trying to figure something out. They're trying to figure out what happened. What are they trying to figure out with the Page of Swords? Ace of Cups, the King of Cups, the Three of Cups. They're curious about the love that you have in your life right now, who you're connecting with. Do you still have feelings for them? They're also showing me a healing process. But even as they're kind of going through that healing process, they're stuck on what you're doing. Do you have love for anyone? And it's blocking their healing process. It shows that they're not really doing that healing work. Why are we seeing this energy today? Three of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Sun. This is someone that you have a very strong connection with. But it comes through on the energetic level. It may not come through materially, as in they may not be in your life right now. You may not talk to them regularly, but there's things that are being communicated energetically, and so this is sort of tapping into that. What about the Eight of Pentacles? The Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles. They're also learning and reflecting on what happened here and how they could have done better. So they're kind of working on themselves. And I don't really know how that's relevant to you, but someone here kind of needed to hear that message. Because whoever this is coming through very strongly. Interesting. Okay, well, let's get 3 cards of advice from the universe for you. Ten of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Six of Cups. Whatever happens here in all of this, you're both still holding on. And that remains very clear in the energy. So if you're wondering, do they still think about me? They're wondering the same thing about you, and vice versa. And there's communication that happens, but it happens through the heart. So that's what I have for you. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And I'll see you next time.